Hi, good morning. Thank you for being with us for this session, this H1 2023 MSX discussion session. This is the first session for this year, half-yearly result and financial strategies brief presentation. And after the presentation, we'll open up the floor for the question and answer, and we'll be happy to answer any question you have relating to companies' financial and strategies. We'll try to answer those.
Good morning, investors. Good morning, investment companies. So we are presenting today our H1 2023 results, which already been published in the newspapers, in MSX. These are all public information. Before we start, we'd like to put some disclaimer for the presentations, which is the usual disclaimer. This presentation is based on the up to June statements. We are not providing any forward-looking prediction or guaranteed anything. And due cautious has to be exercised for any such looking forward statement or comment that may be subject to both unknown and known risk uncertainties. And we are, by accepting delivery of this presentation, the recipient agreed to accept and be bound by the statement restrictions and limitation sets. Our presentation today covered 5 areas. We'll have an introduction. We'll provide the company overview, the key core focus areas we have in the company, our financial highlights and performance. To start with, this is the existing, we established in 1997. And we are one of the FLC's companies listed in Muscat Stock Exchange and regulated by Central Bank of Oman. Our current market share is around 9%, and the company employed 140 staff with the Omanization of over 86%. This year, we got 2 accolades. One is for the best performing company by Alam Al-Iqtisad for small caps. And then we got the awarded Best Emerging CEO for Retail Finance by the International Finance Award, UK, Dubai. Our business primarily focus on 3 areas. Retail, when we provide financing for new and pre-owned vehicle. And we provide facility for finance consumable durable. For corporates and SMEs, we provide equipment finance, working capital finance, sales and lease buyback solutions, and debt factoring. And we are allowed to take deposit of 5,000 riyals and above from corporate customers as per the regulations, and for a minimum period of 3 months. We are present in most of the governorate in Oman. So we have 8 branches across Salalah, Ibra, Ibri, Nizwa, Mawaleh, and head office. And in partner regions, we are present in Barka and Sohar. We provide solutions for 10,000 active customers as of today through our employees, 140 staff. The board member of UFC remained the same under the chairmanhood of the Mr. Mohammed Al-Khonji, our chairman, Echi Hassan Ihsan, our deputy chairman, and other members the same. We have 3 independent board members in UFC, Mr. Wasim, Mr. Salman Al-Lawati, and Mohammed Al-Raisi. The management of the company also continued to be the same. Myself, Chief Executive Officer. I'm supported by Abdulaziz Mahrazi, Chief Operating Officer, Fawaz Al-Riyami, Chief Business Officer, Abdulaziz Al-Absalam, Chief Transformation Officer, Mr. Mahmoud Al-Hadi, AGM HR Admin, Mr. Nanda Kumar, AGM Risk, Onkar Gopal, Head of Audit, Debraj, who is on my right side as Head of Finance, and Maisa Lamki as Head of Compliance. Together, the team has more than 40 years of experience in banking sector. Next, we'll speak a bit about our core focus for as per our strategy, 3-year strategy, which put together to put back customer at the heart of everything we are doing, with the aim of providing services to our customer. We have identified 6 areas of focus. The first one is surrounding the people. With the board support, new executive management team has been put in place for the last 18 months. We've established a performance management system for the staff, enhanced the internal communications, and then one of the biggest initiative we had this year is put together a talent management program and identify 25 of our staff out of 140 and provide them as training and on-job experience to give them opportunity to be the future leaders of the company. We, from last year, we are doing an employee engagement survey to enhance the engagement of the staff. And last but not least, we have provided the annual training program for all our staff with the aim of having 2 minimum trainings for our staff. For last 18 months, we have embarked in the changes in the process to provide timely response to our customer. Our loan origination process was revamped. We look at the customer touch point and revamped all the initiative around the customer touch point, resolution management. We have automated processes and put in place a document management solutions. In the system side, with the board approval, we have embarked on investment in technology. We are in the middle of the plan, and inshallah, we are planning to roll out in Q1 next year. And the aim of the new system is to be a paperless company, provide seamless customer experience and convenience, and provide digital solutions to our customers. From the financial perspective, our focus has been on the portfolio growth, bringing in quality assets and de-risking the portfolio. The primary focus of the growth is toward the retail portfolio, which historically and as per the behavior provide good income, and also the NPL is under control. We depend on the dealerships for retail customers, so we have strengthened the dealer relationships overall. Collections is a key pillar for the company for ensuring that we have sustainable profitability. The focus has been, we've organized the team, focus on the write-off of bad debt accounts. We've established early warning signal committee to review on weekly basis the portfolio and the slippage, and put in place actions. The targets of the staff has been aligned to the bottom line growth of the company. We are having daily review, weekly review meeting, and we have tied up with the legal firms across all the regions so they can follow up on our legal cases across and speed up the resolutions. Last is the branches. For starting last year, we have invested in a branch. We have relocated 2 branches so far, one Salala and Ibri. It's a brand new locations, and focus on customer service, customer satisfactions, and the feel and look, and also to provide our staff a good environment to work. We are setting up marketing hubs across the Sultanate and provide service connectivity to the head office, so we can at any point in time have a prompt response to customer requests. So that covered the key focus area for the company. Coming back to the financial that we have delivered for the half year for 2023, our interest income was at 4.34 million. We have delivered an operating profit of 1.6 million, and a net profit of 810,000. From the balance sheet side, our net finance debtors was at 96.8 million. We have year-on-year growth of 17.4%. Our equity base very strong at 47.9 million, and total borrowing at 49.7 million, which give us a leverage for the company of around 1.1%. We are the company with the lowest leverage, and that gives us opportunity for further growth. From the ratios, leverage, as I mentioned, is 1.15. Our loan loss coverage is at 55.76%, and if we include the impairment reserve that we hold in the balance sheet, the coverage will be at 67.2%. The gross NPL is at 19.04%, which come down from 21.7% as of December 2022. So our focus, as mentioned, has been on the controlling and reductions of NPL. And year on year, our NPL has reduced at the gross level at over 1 million riyals. For the half year, we provided 646,000 in ECL. The key highlights, if compared to the previous period, 2021 June, our interest income is up by 14.9%. Our fee income, which has been a major area of focus for us has been at 146% growth compared to last year. So our fee income was at 543,000. Our operating income for the half year was at 1.6 million. It's a growth of 34.2% compared to the previous year. The ECL was at 646,000 compared to 380,000 the previous period, and the net profit at 810 compared to 689,000 as of H1 2022, giving a growth of 17.5%. Both our return on equity and return on capital have increased year on year. Return on equity increased from 2.88 to 3.38%. Our return on capital from 3.86 to 4.55. Next is how did we perform? If you look at from 2019 to date. So in 2019, full year was at the finance income was at 8.46 million. In 2020, 7.51. 2021, we had 7.23. There was one time income of 960,000. In 2022, we are at 7.71 million. Now, compared to H1 22, compared to H1 23, so the finance income grew from 3.77 million to 4.34 million, which is a 14.9%. Our net income grew by 4% from 2.94 million to 3.06 million. At operating level, in H1 23, we are 1.6 million compared to 1.19 million the previous year, a 34.2% growth, and the net profit 810,000 compared to 690,000, is 17.4% growth. So this provides the same analysis on much more details: finance income, interest income, net income, operating expenses, and net profits, which are 809,000 compared to 689,000. On the balance sheet side, just to bring your attention to a key area in the balance sheet, which is the installment finance debtors. In 21, we are at 80.3 million. last year, 22, we closed at 88.2 million. And as of H1, we are at 96.8 million. So it's a 17% growth year on year and 6.7% growth if you compare H1 23 to full year 2022. So this has been a focus for the company to grow back in the business and gain market share. And now in line of our strategy to de-risk the portfolio and focus more on retail, the portfolio compositions in H1 22 was 46%, 59% corporate, and 41% retail. Now, in H1 2022, the retail portfolio contribute to is 58.3%, 58.3 million riyals, which equivalent to 60% of the portfolio, and the corporate 38.5 at 40% of the portfolio. So the growth that we are seeing here is in line with our strategy to be more focused on retail, where we have control on NPL and the yield is much better than the corporate. The balance sheets remain the same. So the only change in the balance sheet in H1 compared to last year was the investment revaluation reserve. So we have an investment in a leasing company in Kuwait. So we did a revaluation. Previously, it was valued at 528,000. So the increase in value of 170,000, and that is booked in investment revaluation reserves. Now, coming back to the key ratio that we monitor on a monthly basis in a company, our leverage is at 1.15, and that's compared to industry leverage about 2.5. So our equity base is very stronger, and this provides us opportunity for further growth. The borrowings compared to net worth represent less than 100% at 98.96%. Our cost to income ratio at 55.6%. The gross NPL for June 23 at 19.04, which compared to 21.72 in December 2022. The ECL coverage is at 55.76%. Our return on equity was at 3.66%. The staff expenses to operating expenses is at 57.43%, and our monetization level is at 86.43%. The target for the year is to achieve a monetization level of 90% as per the regulatory requirement. And that's bring to the end my presentations, and we are open for question and answer. Good morning, Mr. Gupta.
Yeah, hi. This is Nitika Gupta from Ubar Capital. I had a couple of questions. So first is on cost to income ratio. So it seems to be a little on the higher side when I compare it to the sector average. So what would be your target cost to income ratio going forward, say for the full year 23 and even beyond that? First question is that. And the second would be on the ECL coverage. What would be your, what is the sort of level you may be comfortable with? Is this the norm that, 55 to 56 or, under 60% coverage is good enough, or you'll be looking at increasing your coverage ratio on that?
Okay, your first question is about the cost to income ratio. Historically, we have gone through different cycle in the UFC. The board has appointed a new management starting September 2021 to relook at the company and relook at the growth. We have invested in the people, we invested in technology, we invested in process. That is the reasons why the cost of income has been higher compared to the market. The market's around 46% average. we are growing back in the business, and we look at the targets in the next 3 years is to be in line with the market average, which will be around 45% cost to income ratio. So the costing has two components. One is the managing the cost. So if you look at our year-on-year cost management, we are more or less flat on year to year. We have grown on we have to keep growing on top level, which is the income level, and keep investing in technology, keep investing in our people. So there's the initial, the first 3 years, there is a lot of investment that you're having to bring UFC technology, operations, and customer focus at par with what normally we look at the banking sector. With regard to ECL, so the ECL, you see it's at 56%, but if you come back last year ago, the ECL coverage was much higher. It was around 79%. So what we did is in December 2022, with the board approval, we have proceeded to write off very old portfolio, which is the NPL dated in 2014, 15, 16, to bring down the NPL ratio. And that brought the ECL overall coverage to 50% in the December. From December to June, we are up to about 56%. And our aim is to meet the regulatory requirement and be in line with the IFRS 9 requirement for ECL. And we'll continue to provide. This year, we have provided about 660,000 riyals in ECL. The board is very conservative. We need to bring up the provision coverage. The other aspect that we need to look, we are holding an impairment reserve in the balance sheets, nearly 2 million. So if you consider that to add to the ECL, our provision coverage is much, much higher than this. And that is in line with the regulatory requirements.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Good morning, Zamatthew.
Good morning, Mr. Nasser. Thank you very much for the presentation. Mr. Nasser, the question that I have is a follow-up on your ECL itself. So what I'm seeing is, compared to the end of last year, we are seeing an improvement in the ECL from 12 to 9.4%. The NPL ratio, not ECL, NPL ratio has come down. So, and you have mentioned that you are writing off some element of your legacy portfolio, legacy NPLs. So if we are look at, can you tell us how much of the reduction is caused by the write-off, and how much of new NPLs are forming in the books? If you can throw some light on that, that would be much appreciated.
Okay, first, when we compare December 22 to June 23, our NPL from the collections and recovery, and also attribute to the growth in portfolio, our NPL has come down from 21.7 million to 19.04. So the year on, from just to take the first half year, our collections and recovery is nearly 1 million riyal for this half year. So that purely from the collections, and that is a result of all the actions that we have taken internally. One is to control slippage, and second is to recover our NPL portfolio. So when we look at compared to industries, I think we are the only company that have seen reductions of NPL in absolute value from December to June. Now, coming back to the write-off portfolio that was done in December last year, it is we did a write-off of 8 million Rialo money. That is a technical written-off account from the book. However, there is a focus on collection and recovery that is continuing, and you could see some of the results we have had in the efforts that we have.
So this 8 million, is it? This is at the end of last year. So this year there was no write-offs. Is that what you mean?
This year there is now no write-off. The number you are seeing is purely from the effort of our collection and recovery team. As you know, our business, the business we are running in FLCs, collection and recovery is the pillar for driving the performance and ensuring that we have a sustainable profitability going forward.
Understood.
So we put a lot of effort in the last 18 months since I joined here. We put a lot of actions and efforts to really monitor and control the NPL and focus on the actions. We do meet here with my team every week 4 times to look at the collection portfolio. So looking at the early delinquency, looking at the NPL, our efforts in collections with our Royal Oman Police, and all the court cases that we have across the regions. At the same time, the growth of portfolio is primarily for a good quality portfolio going forward. So we are very, very cautious in growing and have a focused actions in collection recovery.
Understood. Thank you. And another question that I have is, so if we are not looking at, are we looking at any further write-offs during the course of this year? And what's your outlook on the NPL ratios going forward? What level would be comfortable for you?
Okay, I'll start with the last questions, which the NPL. Where is our aim? Where is our aim to be in next 24 to 36 months? We should be as a UFC at minimum 17%, which is the industrial average. But we do look at bringing down in 24 to 36 months, bring the NPL even below that level.
Even to add on that particular with Mr. CEO's statement, the average industry is around 17.2%. And if you eliminate one of the FLCs, which has a remarkably different approach on the NPL, then the average other industry will be similar around 18 to 19%, which are already we are. But we have an aim to improve this further to below the market, to be at par with the market, even below the market in coming days, with a prudent ECL approach for this year end as well as in next year as well.
But I think it's very important to also indicate that in the last 18 months, since the management has been in place with the board, we are the only company that have seen a reduction in NPL, in spite of the challenges that are there in the market.
Okay, got it. And in your presentation, you mentioned that you have a concrete strategy to move to change your business mix and move towards the corporate. And I'm seeing that there is positive results from that strategic shift in the business mix. So how far do you think this will move, and how do you see the demand from the corporate side for the leasing products? And what are your thoughts on the risk levels that the corporate side has shown in the recent past, and maybe for the next 6 to 12 months time?
Yeah, so when we joined in last quarter of 2021, we did an analysis, deep analysis of the market. We just come out of the COVID, and we have seen that primarily the impacted segments in the post-COVID are the corporate and SMEs. That is one. Second, historically, UFC have had difficulties due to exposure that the company had on the corporate side. The third thing is we look at the portfolio behavior, and the retail portfolio behave much better than the corporate. So our focus has been toward retail. So we moved from 60% corporate, 40% retail to 60% retail, 40% corporate. For us, I think that is the ideal mix that we should have. The shift to retail has been also at the base of our strategy. Enhance customer service, investing in technology and digital, and really push the relationship with the dealership, the branded as well as the second-hand car dealership. So that has been a prime strategy for us. Going forward, we want to maintain that mix of 60-40 in our company, and we see that the economy hasn't grown to what was expected, and we think that 2025, toward the end of 24, 25, that we should see that the government itself start investing in the local economy. At the moment, we are very cautious on the corporate, especially the SMEs. Our focus internally is toward the customer who have a very proven record with us. So our existing customer base, we have, as I mentioned before, we have more than 10,000 customers here, and we are focusing on those who have shown repayments, regular repayments, and they have a sustainable business. And the sector that we are seeing that are prominent here in the local economy, oil and gas primarily, and the other sector, construction, we have de-risk in the construction area, and logistic, which is continue to perform, but we are very cautious on growing the SME and corporate portfolio.
Thank you. Mr. Nasser, I wanted to know your thoughts on the recent changes in regulations, especially in terms of the real estate loans, and UFC had, at one point in time, had very extensive exposure to real estate. So, just if you can share your thoughts on almost all of the recent regulations, and how is it going to shape up the leasing sector as a whole, that would be much appreciated.
Okay, so the recent regulations focus on primarily 6 areas, but there are 3 main areas which will impact our FLCs going forward. The first area is the CBO lowered the minimum deposits from 10,000 to 5,000, and the tenor from 6 months to 3 months. However, we are only allowed to take deposits from corporate customers. So we are focusing to that. The second is the scope of lending. So CBO allowed FLCs to do personal lending and commercial project finance. However, is not the end user. CBO have allowed us to finance the developer. Now, when we look at the real estate, I'm sure many of you have some ideas about it and how much rent you're paying. We see that the local market, there's a huge oversupply of commercial and residential areas and residential units. The prices, unit prices have fallen, rents have fallen, and we see that until we start still looking at the growth in the real estate sector, we are very cautious in embarking in funding real estate. We do have, as you rightly mentioned, experience in doing real estate funding, and the UFC had a lot of pain in that area. I think that's historical knowledge and pain and how it was have helped us to devise a right strategy for UFC. We are not planning to embark in real estate at the moment until we see the market picking up again. With regarding to the personal lending, yes, the CBO has allowed us to give personal loans. However, there are two things. The tenor is restricted to 7 years, while banks are doing 10 years, DBR remaining the same, banks and us at 50%. But the disadvantage that we have compared to the banks have salary assignment. So as soon as the salary hit the saving account of the customer, the banks take the first installment. So it's we are still analyzing and see where we can perform. We'll be looking at further discussion with our board toward the end of the year. We are doing a lot of review of the market and see we do not want to enhance the risk in the portfolio. We want the other way. We want to reduce the risk for us and provide a sustainable profitability.
Got it. Thank you very much, and wish you all the best.
Thank you. So thank you. With this, we conclude the presentation today. So the key takeaway from what we have presented today, our portfolio have grown by about 17% compared to H1 2022, compared to December 2022, we have grown by nearly 10%. Our top line is up, our fee income is up, expenses continue to be in line, under control that we have. Our return on equity, which was at 2.88% the previous year, H1 22, have improved to 3.38%. Our return on capital from 3.87% to 4.55%. So we have here, we have continued to focus on putting together good retail and corporate book, good quality, focusing on the collection and recovery, and of course on the overall ECL coverage. We'll continue to provide to ensure that we are in line with the IFRS 9 requirements. And as you know, our company is audited by E&Y, so the very stringent norms they have there. So we keep focusing on being a better company. From the customer perspective, bringing the customer again at the heart of our strategy, improving our processes, improving our branch network, and inshallah, when in Q1 2024, when our digital investment is up running, we'll be much different company from where we are, in being a paperless company, digital driven, and customer experience and convenience focused. Thank you.
Nasser, thank you so very much. It was very informative. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, team. Thanks.